Guys, it's Lima Cell Cosplay, and I know I haven't uploaded a video in like a very long time, so I'm really sorry about that. I always keep making videos and then never uploading them, and I feel really bad about it, but I'm gonna be back to making videos and stuff again, so yeah. I'd also like to thank everybody for 100 subscribers. I have like 117 subscribers now, so thank you all so much for that. Anyway, so we're gonna get right into this video, which is about going to your first convention. So I've been going to conventions for years. For maybe almost 4 years now, since I was 12 and I'm 16 now, so yeah. Although it's kind of technically 3 because um it was like my first con was like literally right around my birthday. So, yeah. It was like the day before my birthday. So, yeah. Um so when you go to your first convention, there's a lot to expect. I personally, like, a lot of people will tell you that you should start at a small con and then like go to bigger cons, but I personally think you should go to a bigger con so like first so you know what to expect, because I personally went to one of the biggest cons in the state at the time and probably still is one of the biggest ones, and it was really fun and it really gets you immersed in the convention experience. So I mean, it's a little overwhelming at first and stuff, and I know my parents especially were overwhelmed and were kind of concerned about like what was going to happen there and stuff, because they had read like things about them and like, you know, people like being weird and stuff. But my parents really warmed up to conventions, and I've gone to conventions by myself, like slash with friends, and like gone to other like I've gone to up to Miami, which is like an hour away from me, by my with my friend, but without my parents, and basically I haven't had to like go walk around with my parents. I could basically do whatever I wanted, because usually my parents go and they got into like anime. Like my dad was always into anime, but I got my mom into anime, and my mom was into Doctor Who, so she would go to whatever she wanted, or my dad would go do whatever he wanted, and me and my friends or just me would do whatever I wanted and do my own thing. So, yeah. Um, so that's like my first tip, is to start with a good big convention so you basically get the full experience. Number two, um, you need to bring essential items and you don't want to overpack. I definitely overpacked for my first convention, and a lot of weird stuff happened at my first convention. I think I'm gonna do a story time about my first convention very soon, maybe this week. But yeah, so you need to pack basically your cosplay is maybe like a set of clothes or maybe two, like for, you know, just in case. And you're gonna need money, obviously. And you're going to need. You're not really gonna need to bring food. I know a lot of people are always saying that you should bring ramen or something like that, but personally, I just buy food at there, like at the convention, even though it's usually expensive and not as good. Or I'll go to like a hotel, like the hotel food place, or find somewhere else to eat off of the convention. And yeah, I mean, a lot of the time I don't even end up eating at conventions because I'm never like really hungry for some reason. Like every single convention I've been to, I never get hungry at them. And it's really weird because I don't know. Because I guess I'm having so much fun, I forget that I need food and stuff, which is bad, but you know, and I always like end up filling up on like sweets and like snacks and things like that. And, you know, whatever. But you also need money, obviously. A decent amount, I guess, if you want to buy anything and like buy food and stuff. I've gone to cons where I usually go to a convention for like one day, but there's been a few cons where I've like stayed at a hotel or things like that, and or maybe went more than one day, but like I didn't stay at a hotel or something because I live so close. But if you want to buy stuff, you're gonna need money. But I've gone to conventions where I didn't really have a lot of money or any money at all, or something ended up happening where I had to spend all of my money on one thing. I remember one convention I went to, the ticket price online was different from when I got there. I don't know if it was their fault or me reading the website thing wrong, and I ended up spending all of my money at and on tickets. Like I had planned to spend like $15 or something at the convention. That was like how much I had to spend or something like that. And I was like, first of all, my friend's mom forced me to get food and at Subway, which cost a lot of money, and the tickets, which ended up being like $10 or $5 or $10 more than I expected, which sucked. But I had a good time anyway, I guess. But yeah. My other tip for you is I wouldn't really plan anything out, to be honest. Like, I planned so many things to do at my first convention, and every single convention I go to, I always plan it out, and it never ends up happening. Something's always, like, happening or going on, or I get caught up in stuff, like, where I think I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to this panel, and then I never end up going to the panel, or something happens. Like, I remember probably my first convention, I think it was, they had a really cool panel that I wanted to go to, and we were waiting outside for it, and it was running late, and it never happened, and stuff like that. So, yeah. Take advantage, if you're going to the hotel, take advantage of that. You know, take breaks, and, you know, get food, and you can stay later, and you can, like, take a nap or something. I love staying at hotels, especially because they're good places to take pictures. There's a lot of the convention I go to in Miami, like, there's multiple conventions in this one convention center in Miami, and it has like a really cool like pool area that has like a waterfall type thing, and like a little like weird thing in the back, like with a little like bridge that you could walk over, and it's like a really good place to take pictures and stuff. So yeah. And then you can also take advantage of going like and parking and not worrying about it, and like not worrying about like having to like lose your stuff, and you can just like carry around your stuff, like, or leave it at the hotel if you're staying at the hotel. Especially another thing about packing, which I should have mentioned earlier, is when you're carrying a bag around the convention, make sure like it only has things you really really need, like your makeup, some like extra like costly stuff, like, you know, toiletries that you really need and stuff like that, because it's gonna get heavy and you don't want to be carrying that around. I usually carry around a big giant like shoulder bag with me, or like a backpack, and that's like way too heavy I guess, but I bring it anyway, and I'm usually the one that ends up carrying everybody's stuff. So yeah. Which sucks, but I don't really mind too much, because yeah. Another thing you should do at your first convention is you need to, you know, be social. A lot of people there, when you go to a convention, most of the people there are not social, and then they go to the conventions or they cosplay, and they become a whole different person. They're much more confident. I personally am much more confident and different when I go to conventions than I am in real life. And I don't know what it is, I guess being surrounded by people that like the same things you do, and, you know, you can talk to like them about stuff without it being like weird or looked down upon, I guess, and you become a whole different person. Another thing about cosplay really quick is a lot of people think that you need to cosplay at conventions, which is just not true. I personally cosplay at every single convention I've ever been to, although there was one day that I didn't go in cosplay, but I was only there for like a few hours, and it was on the last day, and I went half of it in cosplay and the other I wasn't, and it was only because I was going to buy something, and that was the only reason. I didn't feel like, and I was going home that day, so I didn't feel like getting my whole thing together again. So yeah. Another thing is that if you do want to do something, prioritize it and work everything around that, and only pick a few things. So let's say your favorite voice actor is going to be there. Make sure you're there, and make sure you're early, because seats fill up fast. Believe it or not, I know a lot of conventions like don't seem that popular or something. There might not be a lot of people there, but, you know, get there first and stuff, because you never know what's gonna happen, and yeah. So only pick like a few things to do. And don't forget that, you don't have to be at a panel every single second. Like, part of the fun of, like, being at a convention is just finding people to hang out with and walk around with and take pictures with and stuff. And, like, going and, like, doing games and things like that. And just being yourself and, like, just chilling and whatever. And going to the dealer's room and buying stuff and going to Artist Alley. And if you're going to a bigger convention, there is one convention by me that is coming up in literally like a week or two, which I'm probably going to with my friend, and they always give out free stuff. They gave me a free t-shirt last year. It wasn't for the actual convention itself, but it was like for some advertisement thing they were doing for an anti-smoking thing. We got free pictures, and we got free posters, and like there was like games and like wheels to spin and stuff like that, which would get you like prizes and things like that. So that was really cool. So make sure you like go around the dealer's room and to check out like all the stuff. And a lot of the times when you go to a convention and like the dealer's room, it's much cheaper than you would find online or at an anime store or something, because I know a lot of times that you see something at like online and then it's like way cheaper in person. And especially you can get good deals at the end of the day, especially on Sundays when the convention's closing or whatever day it closes. And that's because they want to get rid of their stuff, and you can probably try and haggle the price just a little bit, not by much. I remember my friend got a Hatsune Miku figurine, which was like $20, and she managed to haggle it down to 15. And I've personally managed to haggle some prices myself. Be sure to be fair, but as long as you are fair about it, they most likely will give you a slight discount. Not like they're gonna give you like half off or something like that, I don't think. But yeah, and if you want to get something, like if you really see something you want to get, I would personally just buy it right there, because you never know if it's gonna go somewhere, and it's usually a one-of-a-kind thing, and they're not gonna, or maybe not a one-of-a-kind, but you'll never see it anywhere else in that convention. So if you want to buy something, buy it. And if you're going to buy something like a sword or something, you might want to save that for later. Or if if the convention allows you to keep it at the front desk or deliver it to your hotel room, do that as well. But if you're not staying at the hotel or they don't offer that, I would either refrain from buying one in general or just getting it towards the end. But yeah, so I think that's probably about it. I think I will be making like another part to this video, or maybe like for packing stuff that you should do, and some story time convention stuff and things like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and peace out. Bye. Wow, it's not turning off. What the heck?